timer up and running. Let me reset the timer to be 35 minutes because I had it on my study time. So this is where we are. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm your host, Tonya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist. You know what? I'm a lot of things, and I'm going to have to condense it because, you know, jack of all trades, master of none is not me. I have a core focus on helping you become the best that you can be. And how do we do that? We do that through self-love. Self-love sends us on a journey to heal our trauma, to care for ourselves, to analyze and look deeply at who it is that we are, who it is that we're being, and how we choose to show up. So today we're going to be talking about personality and personality theories. We are having another sunrise psychology. I'm coming in a little late with the sunrise psychology because, listen, because I had a lot that was going on. Today is one of my days off from school, so I'm really excited about that. Good morning, Taylor, Mrs. MXW. Oh no, that's not even Mrs. at the front, it's just MXW. Listen, don't worry about me and my eyesight. Glasses ain't gonna take me yet. It ain't gonna take me yet. Not yet. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to find some pages for you about something that Joe Dispenza said. And so I wrote out this whole thing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I wrote out this whole thing here about personality. And so we're going to go live on all of the channels. I just wanted to see you all, see how you all were doing, get a sense for where you're at, right? Oh, Taylor is binge watching. I love those days of binge watching. So enjoy, because I have a lot of stuff. Somebody wrote to me today. And I wonder if it's in my old journal, because I wonder if I put it in my old journal or if it's in the new journal, because I'm looking for Dispenza, but I'm like, I think that's my old journal. Oh my goodness gracious. I think it's the old journal. How could this be? Give me 1 second. How could this be? Oh, this ain't the journal. What is this in my hand? That ain't it. That is not it. This is it. This is it. I don't know about you all. If you keep a journal, put up a 1. I keep journals. These are my last 3 journals. I like to, when I go different places, I just had to mute down my lipstick a little bit. When I go to different places, I like getting a journal from that place so that it is a symbol of where it is that I'm at. Yes, this is it. This was in my old journal. I can't believe this. Wow, years go by so quickly. All right, so basically, I was talking, so what I wanted to talk about was personality. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. My journals be having so much in there. Hope versus optimism. Cornell West said, hope equal making a leap beyond evidence. Optimism looks at evidence and infers that things will get better. So we only have 2 journal writers in here. Oh my goodness. So Cornell West believes that hope is deeper than optimism, because hope doesn't have evidence that things will get better. So he feels that it's a little bit deeper. All right. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to get a quote from Joe Dispenza. That's what I wanted to do. My thing just went into sleep mode. Oh my goodness. So Joe Dispenza says, oh, welcome in, L, welcome. Slide another reason, epigenetics, 4-day meditation, stem cells, higher emotion, brain pays attention. Oh my gracious. Oh, You know what? I don't think I'm going to find what I'm looking for in there, so we might as well just go ahead and get the video started. We might as well go ahead and get the video up and running. Welcome in. I'm so happy that you all are here. I'm your host. Today we're going to be talking about personalities, behavior, change, and theories. Right now we're on YouTube. We have 40 people here who are for our Sunrise Psychology. You know what? Let me update the title. And let me put hashtag Sunrise PSYCHOLOGY, Sunrise Psychology, so that we know why we're here. Because, you know, different people come in for different videos. I love you too, baby girl. Let's jump into it. Let's go ahead and let me get my thing back up. Here. Uh-oh. My thing is not connected. Give me 1 second. Projected, present with screen, connect. Let me get my thing connected. And let us accept the connection. How are you all doing? Where are you all coming in from? Tell me, what is the dealio with you? Hey, we got Hannah in the house. Hey, ladies. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and let's get the screen up. The screen is not connecting for some reason. Why is the screen not connecting? This is so disturbing. Come. Where is the connection? Here. Let me get my connection. Where is it? Bear with me. I didn't know that this was going to happen. Okay, let me get it now. Okay, now, come on. All right. So all we have to do now is get our thing up and get this on the screen here. Come on, get this down. Why are you going down with it? Let me get this to the other screen then. Because it's like, why am I clicking this? This is very frustrating. Very frustrating because I want to get the video started, but my screen is acting crazy. Get up here and let's see where the screen is. My screen is missing. Oh my, I don't understand this. Jessica is saying loves it. What is it that you love? I'm messing up right now. This is supposed to go a lot smoother than this. It says it's projecting, but my screen is missing somewhere. It's missing. Oh my ass. I'm so angry right now because my screen is freaking missing and it's annoying because the thing is up. Where is my connected screen? It's gone. Let me close this and start again because this thing is acting crazy and I don't know why. I'm glad this happened before we went live on all platforms, but still, it's like when I get to these slow starts, it messes up the broadcast because then when it goes up small in the corner. That's what happens to it. At least I learned something new today. Well, I'm happy about that. Let me delete. All right, perfect. All right, let's start again. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and get live on all platforms. Jessica saying, thank goodness for the text notifications, Claude. I know that's right. All right. We are live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Twitch. We're live on TikTok. And as you know, We are live on YouTube. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Tonya TKO. Welcome into the building. Today, we're having another session of Sunrise Psychology. I am a psych major on the master's level in grad school. And I am sharing with you what I am learning so that we can all get better together. Today, somebody wrote me a message about a huge decision that she had to make 16 years ago. And she happened to come across one of my videos, and I happened to come across her message. Spirit sent her to send that message to me at just the right time, because I had been struggling with the fact that offline, I'm very private. I keep to myself. I keep my head down low. Some of you who have come across me in the streets, you were like, you remind me of somebody, and I'm like, I don't know who that could be. So if you saw me outside and I denied it was me, I do that. I do. It's like, if you don't really know it's me, then is it really me? Is it? So my apologies to everybody who I denied that it was me, but I am very private when I'm offline. And I had a huge discussion in one of my classes yesterday about how we influence others. And on this channel, I want to influence you to live your best life in the best way that it can be. Honestly, that's why I'm here. That's why I do what it is that I do. I'm a self-love specialist, and as a self-love specialist, I specialize in helping you get closer to the love within yourself. How do we do that? We have to work through the traumas. We have to work through the programming. We have to work through the limiting beliefs. We have to work through the hurt, the pain, the things that we have done to convince ourselves to love ourselves less. The imposing forces from other people on the outside. So my job right now in grad school, so grad school differs from undergrad in that in grad school, every class that you take is about your specialty. So all of the classes that I'm taking are about psychology, but me as the human, I have to figure out, how do I best help you? What do I need to learn? What courses do I need to take that are going to make me as well-rounded as possible? I decided that some of the things that I need to learn about neurology, about the brain, about how the brain interacts with the environment, how we become ourselves, right? I registered for 7 classes at the beginning of the semester, and I had to drop a few of them, right? I had to drop a few of them because I just wanted to see what was in them so that I could curate my courses. One of the courses that I'm tremendously interested in that I registered for, but surprisingly, the professor and I had very big differences in personality. Happy birthday, Tisha. And so this is one of the texts that she began for us, right? And we're going to read this text together. I'm going to ask you all, first of all, what is personality? I want you all to tell me, what is the difference between personality and behavior? I'm going to open up the floor for answers, and I want to see from you, what's the difference between personality and behavior? Tell me what you think. Happy birthday to all of the people who are celebrating birthdays. Happy Black History Month. Happy all of that to everybody. Whew, it's going to be a really good year, a really, really good year for us. You claim it, own it right now, own it, claim it. All right, so the question on the table is, what's the difference between personality and behavior? Denise said that's too much. Oh, you're talking about the classes. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. Yeah, 7 classes was too much. It really was. It was. So the classes that I looked into were classes on neuroscience, psychopathology, personality, behaviorism, also symbols and psychology, symbols and the psyche, right? As well as the science of spirituality and how that creates overall wellness, right? Yes, like, subscribe, thumbs up the video so that you can find it again, especially if you like videos like these. All right. So the question on the table, open for all of us, is what is the difference between personality and behavior? So Kaya says personality is traits and behavior is something you pick up over time. Interesting. Let's see if there's any more answers. We got someone coming in from Twitch and speaking. So on Twitch, listen, baby, right now we're talking about personality and we're talking about behavior. What is the difference between personality and behavior? Is the I just wanted to just take off my extra lipstick. All right. Personality is the personal people space and things that make up who you are. The personality can influence your behaviors. Interesting. Personality is cognitive, internal, and perceptions. Behavior is external and how internal impacts the outer being. Oh, interesting. Behavior is observable, says Hannah. So we got Tonya, we got Destiny, we got people answering the question. Interesting. Behavior. What is the difference between behavior and personality, right? According to Joe Dispenza, your behaviors creates your habits. And with enough time with these habits, that becomes your personality, right? That's interesting, right? That's a theory. One of the things that I want us to remember is that, you know what? Let me update my titles real quick to Hillman Talk. Since we over here teaching, let's do a hashtag Hillman Talk. Let's do it. Why not? Since we're teaching, right? Okay. Lisa says, behavior is your actions, how you externally react to stimulation. Personality is who you are at your core. What is the core? One of the things that I want us to remember is to question everything. A theory is really only as good as how long it can be tested and proven to be true, or certain facets of it being true. Everybody has a theory. And some scholars have created theories around which we are going to learn over the course of this semester, right? Denise says, I think they both work hand in hand. Joe Dispenza sounds familiar. Joe Dispenza is an author. He's an author. I believe he also does some neuro stuff, but I'm not exactly sure. Exactly all of his titles, etc., etc. So today we're looking at this book by George Boeree. George Boeree was a psychology professor at Shippensburg University. I went to look him up to see if maybe he would talk to us. However, sadly, during the pandemic, he died. He died in 2021, and I was really sad to read that. I was sad to read that as we came forward, because he was nice enough to take his book, and as you see here, if you pause to read, he took his book and he made it available to undergrad students and graduate students, as long as the book was being used for personal and for teaching. So there we have that. So today we're looking at his book, and we're going to read his introduction to theories on personality, which is right here on this screen, right? All right, so let's go into it. You're not going to need to look at the screen. I'm going to read to you. So if you have dishes to wash, if you're driving and all that other stuff, you could just put the phone down and just listen. We're just going to be talking right now, not showing much except the stuff on the screen. You could pause, enlarge it, pause to read, etc. Actually, let me make this larger for you all on the screen. There we go. Because I don't really need to be in the thing. I'll put myself to the side. Okay, there we go. All right. Welcome to Theories of Personality. This course and e-text will examine a number of theories of personality, from Sigmund Freud's famous psychoanalyst to Viktor Frankl's logotherapy. It will include biographies, basic terms and concepts, assessment methods and therapies, discussions and anecdotes, and references for further reading. Some of you may find the area a bit confusing. First, many people ask, who's right? Unfortunately, this aspect of psychology is the least amenable to direct research that pits one theory against another. Much of it involves things that are only accessible to the person, him or herself, your inner thoughts and feelings. Some of it is thought to not be available even to the person, your instincts and unconscious motivations, etc. In other words, personality is still very much in a pre-scientific or philosophical stage, and some aspects may as well remain that way. Why? Why is personality so difficult to understand? Why is personality so difficult to pinpoint? I guess it's because many of us have, not even many of us, all of us have different personalities. The author is going to go a bit more into depth with what are some of the problems with weighing personality. Why is personality so difficult to assess? You know, we've all taken those personality tests, but how accurate are those personality tests? As you know, we have Myers-Briggs, we have Ocean, we have this, we have that. We have so many. Name some of the personality tests that you've heard of. I've taken the Myers-Briggs personality test, and according to their assessment, I am an ENTP slash, oh my goodness, F. ENTP slash F. ENT, yeah, perceptive or feeling. I always score the same on the last one. They just couldn't pin it down. So how many of you have heard of different personality tests? If you have, tell me about the different personality tests that you've heard about. I'm going to wait for you all to do that. And so let's continue forward. Okay. Another thing that throws some people about personality theories is that they come into it thinking it's the easiest topic of all and that everyone, especially themselves, already knows all the answers. Well, it's true that personality theories doesn't involve all the higher math and symbolic systems that physics and chemistry, the famously quote-unquote tough courses involve. And it's true that we all have a pretty direct access to our own thoughts and feelings and plenty of experience dealing with people. INFJ, that's what it is, PJ. Mine is P and J at the end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Okay, yes, J, thank you, Edna. That is me. I'm on the cusp of P and J. Astrology can be one. Oh, interesting. Oh, you know what? You're right. The personality assigned to your astrological symbol. So then that's the thing. How can we narrow down personality when there's so many different factors? The stars are now coming into the discussion. Astrology, what day you were born on, even the time will denote that there are different, this is the theory, that there are different behaviors that you have according to the time of your birth. Like some people consider the time of their birth very intimate. Like you can tell from the time of a person's birth, the exact date, what stars were aligned in what position at that time, etc. And so Tonya says the exact reason I didn't fully support diagnosing personality disorders in teenagers, but clinicians especially after only seeing a client for a few sessions. That's very interesting because we're going to talk about psychopathologies a little bit. Because when we start telling people that they're narcissists, there are a lot of people who think that these behaviors are purposeful, that people are going out of their way to behave in a certain way. How many people here have children? If you have a child, you know your child was born with their personality because you saw it from the time that they were a little baby. Where did they learn this? Where did it come from? Anybody who has children here, put up the number 2, right? And then people are saying numerology as well. Okay. Everyone who has seen a baby, especially if you gave birth to this baby or you knew this baby when the baby had come right out the womb, you know that the same personality that baby existed when it was a few seconds old, the personality developed over time. However, the building blocks of it. Someone is saying, is this a class assignment? I know that's right. Well, you know what? If we were to have a class assignment, I would want us to think about a few different things, right? And I'm going to tell you all that towards the latter part, because I do believe that there is an assignment here, but you can do it at your own pace, right? Okay, so we have a lot of parents here. Okay, so as a parent, if you saw that each one of your children had a different personality from the moment that they came out of the womb, put up a 3. If you feel that multiple of your children have the same personality, go ahead and put up a 4. Or yeah, put up a 4. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to see any 4s because I know that children have their own personality and they develop over time. So if our personality denotes some of our behavior, because we have a particular personality, we are going to participate in different behaviors. So like I met a baby once who loved to be massaged. Loved to be massaged. Go get some of the creams and start rubbing on the little baby body, and the baby will sit there and allow for the massage. Love it. When the baby got a little bit older, the baby loved creams on the face. The baby would sit there for you to put creams on the face. Then pantomiming little makeups and little pampering routines. Loved to have a foot massage and little toenail polish. Loved it. Loved it. And now that the baby is older, the baby loves perfumes and loves just going out in all of their glory. Just loves it. The personality that existed in the baby altered, or not altered, but dictated the types of behaviors that they participated in. But then we talked about behaviors, and some of us said that behaviors are the external part and the personality is internal. But does the personality alter our behaviors? And then, is it possible to participate in certain behaviors and those behaviors then become your habit? So like, let's say could it be in a part of my personality? Oh, somebody said even their dog has a personality. Very interesting. Very interesting. Is it possible that not liking to work out, could laziness be a part of a person's personality? Aversion to exercise, could it be a part of a personality? Yes, no. And if I force myself to, like, let's say I force myself to exercise for 21 days straight until my body starts building up the chemical reactions to the exercise. And then I continue to exercise, forcing myself until what will happen after a certain amount of time? Will I then like exercising? Will exercise become a habit? Will those habits then create a difference in my personality? Is it possible that I can change my behavior and then that behavior change my personality? Is that possible? I don't know. Right now I'm only asking the questions. Why? Because we're at the beginning of the semester and I am asking these questions as well. So we will come to know the answers over time. Some people are saying yes. Some may say no. but I don't know. Let's look and see what the theories say. But let's get back to the author. So the author was saying, all right, that some people think personality is that they think they already know the answers because we have our own personalities, all of the higher math and symbolic systems of physics and the famously tough courses, blah, 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 blah. And it's true. We all have pretty direct. The thing is not on the screen here. My bad. It's up back now. It's back up now. You can just pause and not pause, but make it larger so you can read along with me, right? And somebody's saying both are true. Very interesting. But we're going to dive further into that, right? So here. We all have our own thoughts, and this is where we are right here, if you can see that right there. And experiences dealing with people. But we are mistaking familiarity with knowledge. And in much of what we think we know turns out to be prejudices and biases we've picked up on over the years. In fact, the topic of theories of personality is probably one of the most difficult and most complex we've ever dealt with. So personality theory is apparently very complex. Why? Let's see. All right, so we're at the top of the page. So at present, we are stuck with theories, plural, rather than the science of personality. As we go through the various theories, however, there will be one that will fit well with your experiences of self and others. That tends to be a good sign, and there will be times that several theorists say similar things, even though they are taking very different approaches. That too is a good sign. And once in a blue moon, there is a research program that supports certain ideas over others. That's a very good sign. What makes personality theory so interesting, I think, is that we can actually participate in the process. You don't need labs and federal funding, just a bit of intelligence, some motivation, and an open mind, right? Okay, so Stefan is learning things about sociology. There's so much that he didn't know. So you know what? That's a great question because I asked my professor. Well, we all have personalities, right? But can a group of people have a personality? Is that called culture? And if enough people have a personality or personalities, is that called society? Oh! That was a mistake. Nobody got blocked. Nobody on this video got blocked. That was a mistake. I meant to hit the applause and my fingers slipped over. So, Stefan, that's a question for you. If a group of people have a personality, is that called culture? If a larger group of people have personalities or traits in common, is that called society? Since you're in a sociology class, I'd like for you to answer that. Okay, so exclusively says it's been a minute, but aren't these more social influences rather than personality? Just throwing that out there for discussion. Hey, welcome. Stefan is waiting for class to begin. Well, you're in class right now, dear. Class has already begun. All right. Well, that is a question, and I guess as we explore more, we're going to find out more. So now we're at the bottom of the page at theory. This is where we're at right there. All right. It might be nice to start out with a definition of theories of personality first. Theory is a model of reality that helps us to understand, explain, predict, and control that reality. That's a theory. In the study of personality, these models are usually verbal. Every now and then, someone comes up with a graphic model with symbolic illustrations of math or a mathematical model or even a computer model. But words are the basic form of the models of our theory. Stefan! Is it society? Is it sociology? That's my question. That's my question. Okay, here we go. Different approaches focus on different aspects of theory. Humanist and existentialist. What is the difference between a humanist and an existentialist? What is being human? That's the human experience. What is existential? That is what involves our existence. Oh wow. It is time for us to get up for our dance break. It is time for us to get up for our dance break. If you're enjoying today's video, go ahead and throw up a 5 or put up a hand. Throw up a 5, put up a hand. Let me see if you're with me, because I know it can be a little boring to read, well, in my opinion, but everybody's different. So if you're enjoying it, if you're enjoying the discussion, put up a 5, and then you can also tell me different ways that I can make the production better. Is it helpful to you to have the words on the screen to read along with me? Is it distracting? Do you want me to make that smaller? Do you want me to make myself smaller and put more of the words up on the screen? Help me figure out how to make these sessions of most benefit to you. I read the introduction before I started this video, and I wanted to talk about a summary of the introduction. But when I went to download the book, I realized that the introduction that the professor had given us is different than the introduction given in his book. So I don't know the date of the intro that she gave us, right? Oh, a lot of people are enjoying it. I'm happy to hear that. And remember, you can send me feedback here. You can come to my website, TonyaTKO.com, and give me ways that I can improve these lessons, the sunrise psychology, because I'm here at your service. I'm teaching you what it is that I'm learning as I'm learning it. So I want us to be in this together. So help me. So Lisa is saying very helpful to have the words on the screen. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. But please tell me, oh, okay, I need to see. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So I'm happy that I have the words on the screen. All right, let us get our music up. Let's see what music. So if you're, listen, wherever you are, hold on, let me get the music. Okay. Listen, wherever you are, whether you're in class, listen, Stefan, listen, you might need to step outside and do just a little bit of movement. Maybe you can walk back and forth as you're pacing. It's 10:55, so class is not going to start till 10 minutes after. So come on, get up out of your seat, right? And I am going to listen. Let me show you all. Let me show you all something. Let me show you all something here. Let me show you. Okay, here. Do you all see that? Okay. So right now I have a hole in my back that is connected to a nephrostomy tube. I told you all about the surgery I had last year. I've recently got another procedure to be able to help my kidney drain. And so I have a tube that's going around my back to a bag that is on my leg that is catching the fluid that is coming out of my kidney, right? I haven't spoken about this publicly because I've just been working on going forward towards health. That's what I've been doing, right? And I decided to show this to you all today because if there's anybody out there who is dealing with a health issue, look, health is a part of living, you know, and health issues come into some of our lives. I want to encourage you to get up out of your seat and move. We only have but a certain amount of time here on this earth. And I do these movement breaks because, like I said, I'm a self-love specialist and I am interested in your well-being. So if I can get up with my nephrostomy tube, if I can get up with the health issues that I'm dealing with, I want to encourage you to do something, even if it's just sitting in your chair and flexing your glutes, lifting a leg in your seat. I want to encourage you to get up out of your seat when you're working or in class. I want you to, if you're in class, go stand in the back of the room. If you're at work, get up and pace. Whatever it is, wherever you are, even if you're driving, let's say you have an hour drive, pull off after about half an hour and walk do some squats, do whatever it is that you need to do. All right? And I want to encourage you to take your health into your hands and get up out of your seat and dance with me. Listen. Hey, 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 hey. If you got up for this, you got 2 minutes and 40 seconds of movement under your belt. You know what? We'll do another 20 seconds so we can make it a full 3 minutes. Okay? All right? Full 3 minutes. Hey! Hey! Let me get my little maraca.
Seguido me verán por el ley navegar, con un perfil bajo de andar. Traigo pa' caer de buena mente, siempre al frente y bien pendiente, listos pa' accionar. No soy de problemas, pero sí buscando la palabra nunca de faltar y bien blancos.
We will come back to that song. I just wanted to get us a full 3 minutes. All right, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Whew. Whew. That was so good. Remember, drink lots of water. All right. Stephen says culture. The group's shared practices, values, and beliefs. Cultures encompass a group's way of life, from routine, everyday interactions. That was great. And thank you for adding that. Let's put 35 minutes back up on the clock. And like I said, wherever it is that you are, I encourage you to get up out of your seat and move throughout the day. So that right there gave me 3 minutes of movement for today, and I'm happy about that. That also gave you 3 minutes of movement if you participated. So these movement breaks add up. Next one will be another 3 or 4 minutes, and then before you know it, you'll have your 25 minutes for the whole day. So Joy is saying thank you, and you are welcome, Joy. Thank you for being here. Where's my thing? Whew, that was really good. I'm happy that we did that. All right. Let's get back to the text, right? So many of you said that you're enjoying this right now. There are over 100 people here who are on YouTube. So welcome. I'm happy to have you here. Okay. And there's about a dozen people on Facebook, and there is one person on Twitch. So I'm happy that you all are in the building. All right. Magic says thank you. I'm happy. I'm happy. All right, so let's keep going forward. So humanists and existentialists tend to focus on the understanding part. They believe that much of what we are is way too complex and embedded in history and culture. We just talked about culture to predict and control. Besides, they suggest predicting and controlling people is to considerable an extent unethical behaviorists. Okay, unethical. All right. Behaviorists and Freudians, on the other hand, prefer to discuss prediction and control. If an idea is useful, if it works, go with it. Understanding to them is secondary. So for Freud, what does this mean? If an idea is useful, it works, go with it. So Freud did a lot of experimenting. One of the things that I can say is that listen, Freud's methods, right? Alexa says, I spent yesterday's afternoon in the ER, so I needed this. I'm glad that you're here. Which part of this did you need? Did you need the dance break? Did you need the reminder about health and moving forward? What did you need? Tell me. Because this, I don't know what word this is covering. So did you need the school break? Tell me what you need. Tell me. All right, so it says here, Freudians, behaviorists and Freudians, on the other hand, prefer to discuss prediction and control. That's interesting. Can you predict and control behavior? We shall see. I was going to say that from some of the texts that I've read, Freud spent time trying to confront his patients into quote unquote accepting the truth. And he had a lot of theories about what he felt truth was. Pierre Janet, on the other hand, he'd use hypnotherapy to get his patients to believe a different version of the truth that actually got them out of the asylums and back into functional working order. So which one is better? Is it better to accept the truth, or is it better to be functioning? Listen. Okay. So Edna says the health reminder for me. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Another definition says that a theory is a guide to action. A theory is a guide to action. Listen, one of the things that I want us to remain is curious. When somebody tells us something, don't take it personal. Just wonder what information they're using to back up this point of view. Because in their point of view, a thing could be true, quote unquote, little t true, according to the information that they have. So Alexa saying, you showing us the device on you was powerful reminder that despite our health circumstances, we can still push forward. I'm glad to hear that. All right. And you know what? I think it's really important because especially us as content creators, people are constantly trying to promote an idea of some perfect life where the children are always clean and well behaved and the man is always attentive and at your service or whatever, right? And that you are always in perfect health and perfect shape and perfect this. And I think that especially with us as women, a lot of people demand this of us. They demand that we give them their version of beauty or health or whatever. And many of us can try to demand that of ourselves, that we are always perfect and always something, right? Mary says, my question would be this: what about a step in? The body born in the womb under a sign, but the soul inhabiting the body came in when the original soul left. What do they fit into? What do they go by since their soul wasn't in that body at birth to fall under that sign for their personality? I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about a soul coming into a person that's dying, and then that soul left and another soul came in, and that new soul is in the old body, so that one body has had two different souls? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying that as a grandmother dies, maybe a grandchild is born, and that grandchild is the grandmother's soul? Tell me more about what it is that you're saying, because I'm not understanding from the little bit of text that I read. Okay, let's continue going forward. Okay, we figure that the future will be something like the past. We figure that certain sequences and patterns of events that have occurred frequently before are likely to occur again. So we look at the first events of an experience, or the most vivid parts of a pattern, to serve as our landmarks and warning signals. So vivid parts of a pattern to serve as our landmarks and warning signals. I guess this can be about a little bit of behavior stuff, right? So you're talking about one body, two different souls. I heard that theory before. I've heard that theory before. As a matter of fact, there was a man that I had met who was gay, right? He was gay and he had a near-death experience. And when he came out of that near-death experience, he was heterosexual. And he was in a 25-year plus long marriage with his husband. And he ended up having to divorce his husband, and because of this. So he theorizes that maybe as he had this near-death experience, a different soul came into his body to take over from there. I don't know. I would need more information about that. I mean, what do you all think out there? Oh, Alexa says this is getting metaphysical. That's one of the things I appreciated about Jung's work. So Jung is somebody that we are going to be discussing. We're going to discuss Freud first and then Jung second. So that's really interesting. I haven't read Jung's work yet. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know who Jung was until I got into grad school, because I thought that the theorists of psychology were all kind of boring, stuffy old white men of the past that had wild, crazy theories like Freud. I didn't realize that there were a lot of people with a lot of different theories. Oh, wow. SR said, you showing us the device made me get my lazy behind right up. I have no excuse. Listen, you get ready, because in 26 more minutes, we're getting back up again. So you're right. No excuse. No excuse. All right. So let's continue going forward into what we were reading. A theory is like a little map. It isn't the same as the countryside it describes. It certainly doesn't give you every detail. It may not even be terribly accurate, but it does provide a guide to action and gives us something to connect with when it fails. Okay, so a theory is like a guide. That's basically what the author is saying. So now we're at the part here where we're talking about personality. Okay, the soul, I came into this body at 6 months old, and I don't fit into my sign. You had a near-death experience at 6 months old? I need to hear more about this. And then is there any way to test that? There really is no way to test it, so this can only be a theory, and we can kind of put it up against different tests and see what holds true. All right, so let's talk about personality. Usually when we talk about someone's personality, we are talking about what makes that person different from other people, perhaps even unique. This aspect of personality is called individual differences, right? For some theories, it is the central issue. These theories often spend considerable attention on things like types and traits and tests, which we can categorize or compare people. Some people are neurotic, others are not. Some people are more introverted, others are more extroverted, and so on. I am an extrovert. Oh, Mary is saying that she died and her parents told her. Well, that's really interesting. That's interesting. Because like I said, this guy said that when he had his near death experience, a different entity, a different energy came in. I'm just going to take a quick little segue right here to address this with my own personal belief or my personal theory, right? I believe that our souls want to experience different things that perhaps like let's say as we were all in the oneness, right? Let's say as we were all one single energy, let there be light, and there was light, that one energy, right? Whether you want to call it God, the energy that animates, the divine source, universal source, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. Let's say our energy is white, which is the inclusion of all colors, right? Let's say as we separated from the oneness, let's say we came into be different colors. Like let's say we started really low on the frequency where we are like maybe let's say red, right? So we all broke away and we all started off red, and then we started having lifetimes, right? I mean, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. Mary says my eyes went from blue to brown and my entire personality was so different that everyone said I had to have been someone else. Okay, interesting. So let's talk about this theory of mine, right? So like let's say all of our energy is red, and then we start having lives, right? And let's say the goal before we enter into these lives, because how many people here have done a past life regression? Those of you who came to New Self, we did a past life regression. So we did a pre-birth regression, we did a past life regression. So we talked about where we were before we came into this world. We talked about where we were before we came into this lifetime. We talked about past lifetimes, and we did, because you all know I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. And so we regressed back into a previous life, right? In one of my previous lives, I was a male warrior who left my family. And there's somebody who's in my life now who was a warrior with me, right? And after the battle was over, I did not feel like I was fit to go back to my family. The woman that I was with, she had just had my child. And I didn't come back to her. I don't know what her life turned into. This was like ancient Spain, or I was like from ancient Spain or Morocco, something along in the northern Africa, lower Europe area, right? I was from somewhere around there. And I didn't feel fit to go back to my family and a newborn because of the lives that I had took and the life that I had lived during battle. I didn't feel fit to go back and just live a normal life. So I went to a cave and I died. The person that I was in battle with, who I know in this life, and also I was wounded. So I was wounded and I could have gone and got medical help, but I didn't. I decided to just let the wound take me. I could have survived, but I chose not to. The person I was in battle with, who's in this lifetime with me right now, I can recognize the energy. This person, in their many lives, like some of the things that they were still dealing with back then in that lifetime, they are still dealing with right now. Neil Donald Walsh, in the book Conversations with God, he says that, well, the God entity that was speaking through him in this book said that you have to incarnate a certain amount of times to be able to come in as a woman. That when you are in a less evolved form, you are male. However, once you evolve past a certain point, you can be female. I don't know if we would go back and be male, or I don't know. I'm sure there are some energies that just went back into male body that have already incarnated as a woman. I'm sure, or I think, right? I don't know. So what I'll say is, when it comes to our soul, I believe that our soul picks lives that we can come into that will help us. Like, circumstances will come in, the tragedy at birth, being born into a flood, fire, war, famine, being born into violence, like these types of things give us greater opportunity to move up the color line in terms of the experience and evolution of our soul. So I personally think that I have evolved a lot from past lives, and I came into this life with circumstances that could have destroyed me. And I have overcome, and I continue to overcome. As you see here, I have a different challenge. What do I do with this challenge? Do I sit down? And for those of you who are just coming in, I have a particular challenge at this moment, right? Do I take this challenge and fall down on the ground and begin to cry and willow and wallow? I could do that. How will that participate in the advancement of my soul's growth in my lifetime right now? What can I do that will participate in that expansion? What do I do with the circumstances, the beating, the molestation, the robbery, the this, the that? What do I do with that? The rape, the near death. What do I do with that? How do I continue moving forward? How do I get onto the other side of it? I personally think that I've done a lot of different work in past lives. I came into this work and I've done a lot of work here. And I believe that it shows. And this is why we're doing what it is that we're doing right now, because I have come back in and I am a guide. You are the hero. I am the guide. And I'm here to give you information. What do you do with the information that I give? So here we go. Here we go. All right. So let's continue going forward. Let's continue going forward. All right. It says here, however, personality theorists are just as interested in commonalities among people. What, for example, does the neurotic person and the healthy person have in common? Or what is the common structure in people that express itself as introversion, and what extrovert and extroversion in others, right? I messed up that sentence, but you can read it. If you place people on some dimension, such as healthy-neurotic or introvert/extrovert, you are saying that the dimension is something everyone can be placed on, whether they are neurotic or not. All people have the capacity for health and ill health, and whether introverted or extroverted, all are verted one way or the other, right? And Mary is saying, so she and I chose for me to come in, and I can advance through healing her life on a soul and mine as well. Okay, so Emmanuel is saying, kindly send me the book. We go back to the beginning of the video. I talked about the author's name. His last name is spelled Boeree. You can go, and if you can find the book, you can get it yourself. They have it in many different places. So you can get the book. You can see it on the screen. I am not authorized to send it to you, but I am authorized to teach from it. All right. So you can get the book yourself, my dear. All right. So here it is. It's saying that all people are verted one way or another. Another way of saying this is that personality theorists are interested in the structure of the individual. Personality theorists are interested in the structures of the individual. The psychological structure in particular. How are people put together? How do they work? How do they fall apart? Some theorists go a step further and say they are looking for the essence of being a person. Or they say they are looking for what it means to be an individual human being. The field of personality psychology stretches from a fairly simple empirical search for differences, so search for differences between people, or a rather philosophical search for the meaning of life. And hence, we have gotten into this whole metaphysical conversation just now, because personality, especially when we talk about where did our personalities come from, and if we were born with our personalities, where did we come from before we were born? It is impossible for us to think that our first interaction with life is being born, because we were all born with personalities. Where did that come from before we came here? All right, so the author then is going to start talking about pitfalls. Attic is saying, I so love your lives when your videos become, you have such intellectual stimulating conversation. Thanks for being Tonya. Am I Tonya? I appreciate, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, perhaps it's just pride, but personality psychologists like to think of their field as a sort of umbrella for all the rest of psychology. We are, after all, concerned about genetics and physiology, about learning and development, about social interactions and culture, about pathology and therapy. All of these things come together to create the individual. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's talk about the pitfalls. Oh my goodness, this is 13 pages long. So I don't think I'm going to get to all 13 pages in this video, because this video is already an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read up this last part. We have 12 minutes before our next dance break. So let's read up this next part. Let's read about the pitfalls, right? And my admin is saying you can support the broadcast by sending through a Cash App. Let me check the Cash Apps and see if anything has come through. I don't see anything yet. It is $Tonya TKO. And it's a verified page on PayPal. If you're enjoying this broadcast and want to support, I'll read your comment on the screen by coming through the Cash App. All right, so let's jump back into pitfalls. All right, here we are down at the bottom of the page by pitfalls. There are quite a few things that can go wrong with a theory, and you should keep your eyes open for them. This applies, of course, even to the theories created by the great minds we'll be looking at. Even Sigmund Freud put his pants on one leg at a time. On the other hand, it is even more important when we develop our own theories about people and their personalities. Here are a few things to look out for. Here we go. We're down here by ethnocentrism. All right. Everyone grows up in a culture that existed before their birth. Listen to that. It influences us so subtly and so thoroughly that we grow up thinking this is the way things are, rather than this is the way the things are in this particular society. Erich Fromm, one of the people we will look at, calls this social unconscious. That's what he called it. And it is very powerful. How many of us think the way that we do things is the norm? Let me tell you, I was visiting someone's house and I was making home fried potatoes. And I cut them up in big chunks because that's the way my mother did it. Another woman who was in the house came and said, well, if you want the flavor to get all around the potatoes, you gotta chop them up smaller. And for me, it just made so much sense. I had been cutting up these potatoes big because that's the way my mother did it. When I would eat the potatoes, the inside part never had any of the seasoning and flavor. And sometimes I would leave big chunks of it on the plate because it just didn't have any flavor. Or, put the big chunks on there or scrape the outside, eat that, and leave the big chunks on there because I liked the flavor and I would kind of sop it around on the plate. Why did I do things this way? Why do I cut my collard greens up by rolling it up first and then chopping it? Why did I slice onions the way I sliced onions? Why did I do any number of things the way that I did it? And it was because I was born into and taught that way. Why do we think some of the thoughts that we think? What happens in a society where you're born into a household where racist ideals are the norm? We are coming to a reckoning right now as a society where we are seeing what people are taught being thrown up, vomited onto the internet and onto the scene. We are coming into contact with ideas where a person thinks, well, of course you can't be a good pilot if you're black, multi-ethnic, of color. If you're not white, how could you be a good pilot? Just being black alone or non-white shows that you're deficient, when the fact is that you're deficient in melanin. Having a melanin deficiency does not make your brain work better, but where are people getting these ideas? Right? Where are people getting these ideas? So let's continue forward. For example, Sigmund Freud grew up in Vienna, not New York or Tokyo. He was born in 1856. Mind you, he didn't believe in racism either. That's just my aside. Nonetheless, he was born in 1856. We gained our quote-unquote freedom in 1865, but he didn't believe racism existed. Interesting. All right. He was born in 1856, not 1756 or 1956. There were things that have had influenced him and his theorizing. That would be different for us in present day, right? All right. The peculiarities of culture can sometimes be, we're at the top of the page here, all right? The peculiarities of culture can sometimes be most easily seen by asking, what does everybody talk about? And what does nobody talk about? In Europe, during the last half of the 1800s, especially in the middle upper class, people just didn't talk about sex much. It was more taboo, right? It was more taboo. Women weren't supposed to show their ankles, much less their thighs. And even the legs on a piano were referred to as limbs, so as to not unnecessarily arouse anyone. You hear this? It was not uncommon for a doctor to make a house call to a newlywed couple to help revive the bride who had never been told the nature of the activity they were to engage in on their wedding night and have fainted dead away at the prospect. Slightly different from today, wouldn't you say? So they didn't tell women that somebody was going to be poking them and they would faint. And the doctor had to make a house call to revive her. Listen, this is pure damn. You know what? Let me not talk. Let me just keep it. Let me just keep it professional. All right. Freud has been commended, by the way, on his ability to rise above the culture in this instant. He saw how strange it was to pretend that people, especially women, were not sexual creatures. Much of our present openness about sex, for better or worse, derives from Freud's original insights. That's what you're saying, because in other cultures, nobody would, come on. Listen, that's a very Eurocentric way of seeing things, because other cultures, people were more open with sex and intercourse and all of that in other parts of the world, right? Today, most people aren't mortified by their sexual natures. Let me move my camera just a bit over since I'm leaning this way now. All right. Today, most people aren't mortified by their sexual natures. In fact, we have a tendency to talk about our sexuality all the time to anyone who will listen. Doggone right, especially the music nowadays. Sex is plastered on our billboards, broadcast on our television as a part of the lyrics of our favorite songs, in our movies, our magazines, our books, and of course, here on the internet. This is something peculiar about our culture, and we're so used to it we hardly notice anymore. On the other hand, Freud was misled by his culture into thinking that neuroses has a sexual root. In our society, we have more problems with feeling useless and fearing aging and death. Freud's society took death for granted, considered aging a sign of maturity, and had a place for nearly everybody. Listen, that's pretty interesting. All right. So here, the next problem with the theories is egocentrism. That's where we're at right now. Another potential pitfall in theorizing the peculiarities of the theories is, as an individual, each of us beyond our culture has specific details to his or her life, genetics, family structure, and dynamics, special experiences, education, and so on that affect the way we think and feel, and ultimately the way we interpret personality. Freud, for example, was the first of 7 children. Though he had 2 half-brothers who had kids of their own before Sigmund was born. Wait, what? Hold on. Freud, for example, was the first of 7 children, though he had two half-brothers who had kids of their own before Sigmund was born. His mother was a strong personality and 20 years younger than his father, right? So Freud's father was 40 and his mother was 20. He had a very hard relationship with his father. Freud was also addicted to cocaine. There was a lot going on with Freud, like for real, for real. So Freud's mother was obsessed with him. She called him her golden Siggy. She was a stay-at-home mom and she was much younger than her husband. So listen to this, right? This is weird because he had 6, no. Freud has 6 children, but I guess he was the first of 7 children in his own lineage. But how could he be the first of 7 children if he had 2 half brothers that had children by the time he was born? That's weird because his mother was only 20, so the children must have come from his father. But how could he be the first of 7 unless the first of his mother's 7? I don't know. We'll talk more about that, or we'll learn more about that. All right, so here, 20 years younger than his father, and she was particularly attached to her quote-unquote Siggy. Freud was a genius, according to her, I suppose. We can't all make that claim. He was Jewish, although neither he nor his father ever practiced their religion, and so on. It is quite likely that the patriarchal family structure he experienced, as well as the close ties he had with his mother, directed his attention to these kinds of issues when it came time for him to formulate his theory. His pessimistic nature and and atheistic beliefs led him to view human life as rather survivalistic and requiring strong social control, right? So this is how he felt about human life. You too have your peculiarities, and they will color your interests and understandings, often without your awareness. Okay. It is time for us to do our movement break, right? So we were going to, here, get up out of your seat. This is one of the things we do on the show is we move. All right, so get up out your seat and let's have our dance. All right, it's time to move. Come on.
Seguido me verán por el navegar con un perfil bajo de andar. Traigo placas verdes, buena mente, siempre al frente y bien pendiente, listo para accionar. No soy de problemas, pero si buscan encuentran la facada nunca de faltar. Y bien placos son en el Acura 905, les de arremangar. Ey, siempre con mi Dios y mis zancuditas a la orden del viejón. Y con mi compita que no falte mi amor. Ella es muy bonita, sabe que la cuido yo. Porque la prende, la fuma, la pasa, la para elevarnos un rato. Nos vamos de antro, muy destapando, siempre empiezado, pacas sonando y en arrancones me ven tumbando. Me ven tumbando, muy destapando, siempre empiezado, pacas sonando y en arrancones me ven tumbando. Me ven tumbando, me ven tumbando.
Alright, if this don't make you wanna get up out your seat, I don't know what will. Unless some trap music. Hey, or some, hey.
A los 20 años ya coronamos y desde abajo empecé a triunfar. Fuerte, placoso, bien belicoso y oloroso, vuelo a Versace. No soy de problemas, pero si buscan encuentran la facada nunca de faltar. Y bien placos son en el Acura 905, le de arremangar. Ey, siempre con mi Dios y mis zancuditas a la orden del viejón. Y con mi damita que no falte mi amor. Ella es muy bonita, sabe que la cuido yo. Porque la prende, la fuma, la pasa, la para elevarnos un rato. Nos vamos de antro, muy destapando, siempre empiestados, pacas tronando y en arrancones me ven zumbando. Me ven zumbando, muy destapando, siempre empiestados, pacas tronando y en arrancones me ven zumbando. Me ven zumbando, me ven zumbando. Me ven zumbando. Me ven zumbando. Que siga la fiesta.
Oh my goodness. All right. So that right there was 3 minutes of exercise. So on this broadcast alone, you should have gotten yourself 6 minutes of exercise. Oh. And then Mary is saying women were kept sexually repressed to continue them, but I think she means control them. All right, she answered, yeah, at the bottom, control. Listen, when we go further into, I'm tired. When we go further into discussing the patriarchy, yes, women's sexuality was controlled to control women, to control society, to control us, because we are the portals of life. So in many ways, we were diminished. In many ways, we were diminished to be able to remain under that control. So what we're going to do is we are going to just go over the topics that we're going to talk about next time. I'll probably summarize it because I'll probably read all of this without you and then summarize it once we come back. The reason I read today was because I'm tired from the movement. Was because the intro that I had read before was different than the one that actually exists in his book. And I think that this one is a little more updated than the one the teacher provided, because this one is the one that talks about the internet. The other one did not mention the internet at all. So I think this one is more advanced, and it said more about Sigmund Freud. It added more information. So I think this is the updated version. So let's go over some of the different pitfalls. So dogmatism. If you see at the bottom of the screen there, dogmatism is one. Also misunderstandings is another, translations, etc. I'm glad he brought that up. Another one, so there's anecdotal evidence. There's evidence, different types of evidence issues. There's philosophical assumptions. There's organization. And then he goes into the resources. So, if you enjoyed this, please let me know. Oh, Mary is ahead of the curve. I appreciate that, and please let me know ways that I can make the broadcast better. Did it help for me to read it with you? Did it help? Would you prefer a summary next time? Just let me know the best way that we can make these offerings more helpful to you. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the SLLs at this point. So we're going to go into the SLL. So for those of you who don't know, the SLL are the self-love lessons. Hey, so the self-love lesson, just type SLL and let me know what from this video helped you learn to love yourself more. It can be anything. It can be something overt, something implied, an epiphany that you had as you were watching. So there's just a few different rules. Woo! Let me close this. Hey! All right, let me get a new notebook open. All right, so here, let me show you all this. So I just want you to type SLL. So type SLL, and then you're going to write your self-love lesson. The self-love lesson is going to need to have 3 different components, right? The first component is it's going to need to be the positive plus affirmative, right? So you're only going to talk about what it is that you do want, right? So the self-love lesson is going to be stated. So A, we're not going to have negative words. And when I say no negative words, I mean words like, let me put an I here. We're not going to have words like don't, never, not. We're not going to have words like those in it, right? Positive, affirmative, we're going to have to talk about what it is that we do want, right? Number 2 for the self-love lesson is it has to be stated from the I or me, right? So I want to hear the I or me, right? And I want to number 3, I want to know what the lesson is. Write out the lesson. So that is it right there. So let's see some of these SLLs. Let me see your self-love lessons for today's broadcast. A. So remember, positive, affirmative, start with use I or me because the lesson has to be personal. So it needs to be a personal lesson. And it needs to be something that came from today's video. What in today's video helped you gain a deeper sense of love for yourself? This is your pop quiz at the end. And if we are going to have an assignment for this week, the assignment is going to be not taking other people's behavior personally. That's it. That's the assignment. To pay attention to how people do things and realize that they have a different view of reality than you. All right. So, where's the thing? Here. So Mary says, for me, I learned that cultural indoctrination is something that comes from society, things not true to who you truly are. So for me, to release and shed myself of those things that create limits on my soul and who I truly am. Okay, So let's get to the heart of the self-love lesson for this, right? So there's a negative term in there about shedding and getting rid of. How do we change that statement around to aligning with more of what we want more of? So how would you state that? Would you say something along the lines of, how do I walk into, how do I embrace, how do I go forward towards who I really am, rather than going away from who we're not? Let's see how we can change that statement into going who to where it is that we are. All right, here. Uh-oh, we got some dance music going on in the background. So let's get these self-love lessons written. There's a bunch of people that are still on here. So come on and get these self-love lessons up. All right, listen, you can dance while you're doing it. Type it out, type it on your phone, or put your computer to the side and type. 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 She don't want beef, she type. Say it to my face. Type. I may let him eat it cause you say you wanna taste. Type. Hey, 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 hey. Type, type. Hey, 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 hey. Type your self-love lesson. Hey, 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 hey. I don't want your man, I ain't in a hoe. Got a big ass, real soft like a thin type your self-love lesson. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see. There are many factors that make up who I am, and I embrace all of me. Wonderful. I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's get a few more self-love lessons in. For the people who are here, think of something that from today's lesson really resonated. Here we go. I will focus on my self-preservation as well as my spiritual preservation. The key words are love me more. Love that. Love that. Love that. Mary says, I'm moving into knowledge of wisdom and truth of my soul, which is the love of myself and all that exists. Self-love lesson. I love that. I love that. Let's get one more in and then we'll call it a show. Let me think about what my self-love lesson is from today's video. Today's video, my self-love lesson is really about when I hear people with their opinions, I am understanding that their opinions are coming from information sets, and that I am paying attention to the fact that truth exists outside of information sets. So I see it for what it is and go accordingly. Just really alleviating myself, just really alleviating and embracing. So rather than alleviate, because that's something we don't want, let me talk about what I do want. Embracing knowledge, the fact that there are multiple theories, and being okay with many people having different theories and asking for the data. Asking for the data. So Marie says don't, and what are some of the, so here, where's my thing? Remember for the self-love lesson, no negative words like don't, never, not. We are only talking about what we do want. So rather than writing something out like don't take things personal, how do we change that around? So how would you restate that without negative words like don't or this, that, and the other? It's a little difficult to do at first. Sometimes it can seem very difficult to do. However, getting into the habit of it changes your neurons. All right, they playing the flute and going off on this song. Joomba, 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 joom. Oh, the song ended. Okay. All right. So let's see where we go from there. All right, so come on. Let's see. One more self-love lesson, and then we're going to call it a day. And then we'll see you in the next video.
Spending hours by your bedside, talking till it's dark out somehow. Can get you off my mind.
Okay.
Don't wanna say goodbye.
Okay.
Bye. Maybe we should take it slow. I don't feel too comfortable jumping into something new right now. Yeah, I don't really know anymore how to feel something.
One last self-love lesson. One last self-love lesson. SLL, and let's see what it is. Okay, Mary's looking forward to the next videos. Make sure you're on the tech squad so that you get a notification when I go live. So just go to TonyaTKO.com/text. I'll put this here. www.TonyaTKO.com/TXT. And you should be able to join the tech squad from there. All right? So I was waiting for one last self-love lesson, but we're going to get out of here. So in the interim, you could just write your self-love lesson in the comment area. All right? I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I don't feel too comfortable jumping into something new.
Have a good day, everyone. Oh, hold on. There's one last one that came in. I'm not sure. Let's continue. I will see you all in the next video.
I don't really know anymore how to be more than your friend. Think I'm just scared of falling. Don't wanna go all in. Oh baby, I don't know. I think I'm scared of falling, and I really don't know how to feel again. Yeah, I don't really know anymore how to feel something again. Think I'm just scared of falling. Don't wanna go all in. I don't really know anymore how to be more than your friend. Think I'm just scared of falling. Go